Hi there, this is Gwen Mc Hale, and I'm making videos about different aspects of my work that I'm excited about at any given moment. I'm a somatic therapist and educator. I work with individuals, couples, and groups on a wide range of issues and topics. And what I'd like to speak about today is the shadow. So, many of you may be familiar with the idea of shadow from psychology, psychotherapy, and perhaps some of you aren't. Basically, if we exist, we have a shadow. And the shadow is all those aspects of myself that I have deemed to be unacceptable, that I have had to hide away, to keep undercover, make sure nobody sees them, and ideally that I don't see them myself. So everybody is unique and everybody's shadow is unique. The shadow, in essence, is not a bad thing. It's just the things that I have at some point in time deemed to be bad. And usually my shadow or shadows are just wrapped in layers of fear and shame, anger, rage, repression. And we do our utmost to pretend our shadows don't exist, but yet what we don't realize is our power, our integrity, our aliveness, and usually our deepest gifts and talents are wrapped up in all those layers of shadow. So doing shadow work is an essential aspect of growth. And it's comfortable, nobody wants to do that kind of deep self-inventory that brings us to a place of, realizing that, maybe we're judgmental or we're easily irritated or we can be impatient, for example. And yet it's only when I can recognize these aspects of myself and when I can bring them more and more into the light and out of hiding that there's any possibility of change. And the kind of change that ideally we are looking for when we're doing shadow work is not to get rid of or eliminate, but to embrace, to accept, to love, and ultimately to integrate. Usually what's hiding underneath the layers of shadow, and which can seem really shadowy, it can seem quite nightmarish sometimes, this work, the things that are hidden under the bed when I'm a child, the dark shadows behind the curtains that scare me, the deep dark forests of the fairy tales, the witches and monsters and all those things that fill a child's nightmare time. They're the things that I feel I meet when I look at the shadow. As I turn to see what is that behind me, I fear the worst. And yet, I guarantee you, when we look closely, what we see is our own wounded child. A child who had faced some injustice and was angry and was shamed for their anger, and so anger was put in shadow. A child whose needs were not being adequately met and was raging about that quite rightly, and that rage was not deemed appropriate and put into shadow. A child who was born with the gift of exquisite sensitivity, and that was not deemed appropriate, so it was put into shadow. A child who was born with a gift for imagination and creativity in a household where that was not deemed appropriate, where that brought rejection from mother or criticism from father, and so that was put into shadow. It is so urgent that each and every one of us does shadow work to really find the gold in there, to find our power, to find our voice, to find those lost aspects of ourselves and allow them to become part of the whole. Allow them to become part of the me that I can be in the world, so that I can bring my gifts and talents and offerings into the world at a time where all our gifts are needed. Don't be afraid to look within. I know you fear the worst. I know some part of you thinks that maybe deep down you're a horrible human being. That's just an idea that keeps you from looking. If you look deep enough, what you'll find is your exquisite beauty, your power, that may be presenting as rage and anger, your talents, your unique gifts. Don't be afraid to look within. If fear is there, find somebody, a good therapist, perhaps who can be with you in that. You don't have to face it alone. Best of luck on this journey. It's not an easy path, but the world needs you now.